What's up, everyone? Welcome to the channel, or welcome back to the channel. Today, I am going to do episode 2 of Marvel Mondays. Yes, I know today's not Monday. I am so sorry for the lateness of this video. But when I tell you guys that superheroes are a pillar, nerd stuff is a pillar of this channel, you guys know how much I love recording the DC podcast. And you guys know how much I love recording this podcast. So I'm a man of my word. So this is me catching up, and I apologize for the lateness of this video. If you guys don't know what this podcast is, it's basically my Marvel version of my DC podcast. So you can look at this podcast of like a Marvel news recap of everything that happened in the week for Marvel. Everything that happened in the week for Marvel. And what this also doesn't mean is I'm still going to be doing Marvel videos during the week. Like, when Wonder Man comes out, I'm going to be reviewing that week to week. When Daredevil Born Again Season 2 comes out, I'm going to be reviewing that week to week. And I'm still going to be doing Marvel videos during the week. This is just like a all-encompassing long-form version of everything. A long-form version of everything. A long-form version of a news, like a news recap, I guess you could say, for everything that happened in Marvel, right? You can basically look at this as the Marvel version of my DC podcast, right? So yeah, so let's get started because I have a lot of topics. So we're gonna start off with Spider-Man today, and we have 3 Spider-Man things today. So Spider-Man Brand New Day, as you should all know, is filming right now. And yeah, so Sadie Sink's character might have been revealed. She's probably playing Rachel. I don't know her last name, but a female Punisher. And before you guys ask me, no, there's no such thing as a female Punisher. Yes, there is. I haven't read the one myself, but I did my research on this before I did this video. And yes, there is. So this takes place from, like, they're taking a lot of cues for Punisher in the MCU from, like, more recent Punisher stories, which I'm fine with. Like, the cop storyline in Daredevil, that's from a more recent Punisher story, right? So this is from a recent Punisher story where Rachel's family gets taken out, and she is basically like Frank's protege, right? Now, before you guys ask me, Sadie Sink is 23. She has no business playing a military person. And thank you to first responders. Thank you to military. Thank you to law enforcement. Thank you to teachers. Thank you for your service. But Sadie Sink actually does, like, I think this is a great role for her, and I'll tell you why. And I'll tell you why it makes sense, right? Sadie Sink is my age, 23, right? Some people go into the army at 18, even 17, and get out when they're 22, right? Or 23, right? So there's precedence for it. So there's your precedence. What do I think about Sadie Sink playing female Punisher? Rachel? I think it's an interesting idea. Like, I think it's a different character than we've seen Sadie Sink in before. Like, we haven't seen her play like a military type character before, right? Right? Like, we've seen her play a psychic before, Max. We've seen her play a broken girl, which that's the whale, right? That's the relationship. That's the whale, right? But we haven't seen her play like a military type person that's as uh, damaged as Frank is, right? And the reason I say Frank is damaged is because Frank lost his whole family, and uh, Frank's way of grieving is seeking justice, right? So, um, right? So we haven't seen her play that type of role before, and I think it would be very interesting. Now, I am so excited for Punisher being in this movie. I am so excited for street level characters in general being in this movie. This seems to be, other than one character that we're going to talk about next, uh, a pretty street level Spider-Man movie, right? Which I am very excited for. I don't believe the rumor, but there's a rumor that Daredevil and Kingpin might show up in this movie. I do not believe that rumor. I hope I'm wrong about that. The reason I don't believe that rumor is Vincent D'Onofrio said like the movie rights for Kingpin are tied up some in like legal jargon and stuff like that. So, and I don't think Vincent D'Onofrio's lying because he's said he wants to cross over with Spider-Man. I hope one day that happens. Him and Daredevil team up. But yeah, Daredevil could be in this movie for like a scene, setting up, meeting Spider-Man again and meeting Frank, right? Or meeting Spider-Man for the first time because he met Peter Parker. He didn't meet Spider-Man. So yeah, but yeah, that's character one that's confirmed to be in this movie now, or like it's still a rumor of what character Sadie Sink is playing. That's just the character that everybody thinks she's playing. So, um, um, now let's talk about the Hulk. So the Hulk, or Bruce Banner, but he'll probably turn into the Hulk after this image, set photos. All of these things that I'm talking about for Spider-Man were in leaked set photos. So, they um, so Mark Ruffalo as Bruce Banner was spotted on set, and Bruce Banner looked beat up. Like he looked beat up. Two things I like about this image. One, Bruce Banner is no longer Pathetic Hulk, aka Professor Hulk. The reason I call that Hulk pathetic, Professor Hulk pathetic, in the comics he's not pathetic, but in the MCU he is, bro. And I'll tell you why. When's the last time you've seen Hulk lose his shit? What? I don't want to see. I do not want to see barbecue Hulk. I want to see Hulk tear shit up Hulk. And, and, and I want to see a Punisher Spider-Man team up versus the Hulk. And, people are like, how are they going to do Punisher in Spider-Man when Punisher's an R-rated character and Spider-Man's going to be PG-13? The Hulk is the way to do that. You know why? There's literally been in comics in the story where Frank has blown bits of Hulk's body off. And what's Hulk? He's like a metahuman, right? So he can take all that, right? So yeah, like that's how you can do it. That would be my dream, that Spider-Man and Punisher take on the Hulk. So yeah, last character that's confirmed now is Misty Knight is back in Spider-Man Brand New Day. Now, if you don't know who Misty Knight is is a character from the Netflix shows, and she's a cop. She loses her arm. So Danny Rand's corporation builds her a new arm, and I'm glad to see her back. Now, the actress seems to be recast because it's not Simone Disick, but that's okay. Like, Luke Cage hasn't been on air. Like, she's mainly a Luke Cage character. She cameoed in Iron Fist season 2 though, right? but she's primarily a Luke Cage type character, right? Luke Cage hasn't been on the air for almost a decade. I can't believe I'm saying that, but it hasn't been. So, what do I think about her helping out Frank? Misty Knight helping out Frank. I get why Rachel does it because Rachel's basically a female version of Frank, right? Right, like she loses her whole family and goes on the revenge path, right? Um, and stuff like that. What do I think of that? I think it's cool to see all these street level characters, in this movie. Like, I've wanted a street level Spider-Man movie. Like, when I think of Spider-Man, guys, I don't think, well, obviously I think of Venom and Green Goblin and stuff like that. But I think of Spider-Man like in the Insomniac games. That's what we get. That's primarily a street level Spider-Man, right? Right? He does fight Mr. Negative. He fights Venom, but that's primarily a street level Spider-Man, right? Or like the Spider-Man TV show that they did where Coleman Domingo voices Green Goblin, right? That's a street level Spider-Man. That's what I think of Spider-Man. I don't think of Spider-Man in like space and stuff like that, other than when he's fighting Venom and stuff like that. So I'm excited to see a street level Spider-Man, and all these characters like Tombstone is confirmed to be in this movie. Frank is confirmed. Sadie Sink's character looks to be the female Punisher. What else? Misty Knight seems to be in this movie, or Misty Knight's in this movie. Daredevil might show up in this movie. So it looks to be a pretty street level focused Spider-Man movie, which I really like. So, yeah. Now we're just gonna, Mike Coulter, we're gonna continue with the street level characters for a bit. Mike Coulter might be back in Daredevil Born Again Season 2. And I love this. So, Mike Coulter, for those of y'all that don't know, played Luke Cage. He's probably back in Daredevil Season 2, or Daredevil Born Again Season 2. Now, we already know that Christian Ritter's back, thanks to the leak trailer and stuff like that. And, I think what Matt's gonna do, because apparently Matt has to build an army, so it would make sense that Matt goes and gets a guy with impenetrable skin. Right? So I would love to see this. And then since we're talking about Daredevil, we're gonna throw this in too. The rumor for Daredevil Season 3, because that got confirmed by Brad Winderbaum, the head of Marvel Television, is they're doing the Hand, and they're bringing Elektra back, and they're probably going to bring Iron Fist back. Why? Because Iron Fist fights the Hand almost as much as Daredevil does. So, I'm not just talking in the MCU, I'm talking in the comics. So, I would love to see that those two things come true. Mike Coulter come back in Season 2, and the Hand and Elektra and Iron Fist come back in Season 3 of Daredevil. So, yeah. Now, we're going to go to the supernatural side of the MCU. And we are going to talk about Blade. Probably, other than Daredevil, like, you guys know Daredevil is my favorite superhero. But other than Daredevil, my most anticipated Marvel project that we haven't heard anything about yet is Blade. Why? Because they have a two-time Academy Award winning actor playing Blade in Mahershala Ali. I really like Blade. I can't wait for the Blade video game that hopefully comes out in 2 years. Right? I can't wait for the Blade video game. Right? But we need to get rolling on this movie, Marvel. Like, what the hell are you doing, bro? Like, did you see Sinners? Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan beat you to the punch, bro. Like, I want to see Blade in the MCU so bad, but there've literally been Nosferatu, Sinners, Interview with a Vampire, a TV show, right? There's literally been vampire things that you can take influence from, like, bruh. Or you could do, like, you could, like, so I'm glad to, so apparently the script is, Mia Goth, who's, apparently playing, Lilith, the Mother of Demons, I think. There's two Liliths in Marvel Comics. I think she's playing the Mother of Demons version of Lilith. Was cast in this movie a long time ago, and she still says it's still on. So hopefully Marvel gets their shit together and starts filming this movie very soon, right? So yeah, like, I'm still excited for this movie. I really want to see supernatural stuff in the MCU. You guys know my favorite part of Ironheart, even though I didn't really like that series very much. My favorite part of Ironheart was Sacha Baron Cohen's Mephisto and Anthony Ramos' The Hood. You guys know that that was my favorite part of the Ironheart series. So they're already setting the groundwork for supernatural stuff. So I would love to see the Blade movie. I would love to see a Midnight Suns movie. And the next thing we're going to talk about, Ghost Rider, or multiple Ghost Riders, are apparently coming to the MCU. So Noah, for those of y'all that don't know, because, there's multiple Ghost Riders. So, there's Johnny Blaze, Robbie Reyes, Danny Ketch, Alejandra. Is there anybody else? No, I think there's only 4 of them so far. Ghost Rider, I would love to see Ghost Rider. So the rumor is Ghost Rider's gonna show up in Avengers Doomsday as Nicolas Cage. Because Nicolas, like, as I've said before, in Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars, I think Marvel's gonna bring everybody back that they can. I think we could possibly see Ben Affleck Daredevil. I think we could possibly see Wesley Snipes Blade. I think we're definitely gonna see Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman. At least Hugh Jackman probably 2 more times, and then I think they're gonna recast Wolverine. That's just my guess. But yeah, but like, I think we're gonna see everybody that Marvel can possibly bring back. I think we're gonna see everybody that Marvel can possibly bring back in these 2 movies. So Nicolas Cage as Ghost Rider one more time, I would love to see that. But there's also a rumor of Marvel wants to do multiple Ghost Riders. And I think this is a great idea. You know why? Because there's 2 main Ghost Riders that people think of. And that's because, depending on what generation, but if you're from my generation, you think of Johnny Blaze and you think of Robbie Reyes. Because those 2 have both had live action adaptations. I would love to see Danny Ketch be one of the Ghost Riders in the MCU. And I would love to see Robbie Reyes. And I would love to see Johnny Blaze. Like, Johnny Blaze could be like the old, I'm too old for this shit type of character, right? Robbie Reyes could be like the middle-aged Ghost Rider. And Danny Ketch could be like the young one, the guy that just became Ghost Rider and stuff like that. And that's probably why, well, I'm not saying Ghost Rider is exclusively the reason why Marvel set up Sacha Baron Cohen's Mephisto, but that's one of the main reasons why they probably did it, so they can do Ghost Rider eventually. But yeah, I really hope this rumor is true, that one, we get Nicolas Cage Ghost Rider one more time in the Avengers movies that are coming out next year and in 2027. And I hope we get multiple Ghost Riders in the MCU. I hope that rumor is true. So yeah, that's the supernatural side. Last topic I'm going to talk about today. So this affects Marvel and DC, so I'm going to cover this topic in both podcasts. But I already recorded the DC podcast for today, so I'm gonna cover this in the DC podcast next week. But Warner Brothers is for sale, and Disney might buy Warner Brothers. Why is that important to Marvel? Well, for one reason. What does Warner Brothers own that's important to superhero fans? DC Comics and DC Studios and DC IP. What does Disney own that's important to superhero fans and nerd fans in general? They own Marvel and Star Wars, right? So if this happens and like right now Discovery's taking offers and they've officially said like, hey, we're for sale and stuff like that, I hope Disney gets them. Why do I hope Disney gets them? Because then we can get Marvel and DC crossovers. Right? I know that sounds selfish, but it doesn't, bro. Like, and also, you guys know, if you guys watch both the podcasts that I do, the DC one and this one, that I'm a massive James Gunn fan. Disney would keep James Gunn. Why? Because they know how quality James Gunn his work is, right? So that's another reason why I want Disney to buy WB, right? And Disney already knows how to handle superheroes. They've handled superheroes for Marvel for like, I think they bought Marvel in like 2010, I believe. So they've been handling superheroes for almost 2 decades, bro. Right? So I would love to see this because not only if Disney buys WB, which is possible, like if you wanna watch a video on explaining why it's possible, there's a YouTuber named The Comic Cast. Watch his video on it. I'm not gonna get into the business side of it. I'm just like the business stuff that I cover on both of my podcasts for DC and Marvel. It has to affect the comics, the movies, the video games, or the television shows, or the universe in general that I'm talking about in these podcasts. And this would, because Disney would basically have the two biggest superhero... Not basically, they would have the two biggest superhero brands of all time. They would basically have the 3 biggest properties of all time, in my opinion. Well, yeah. In my opinion, it's the 3 biggest properties. Well, no. If Disney bought all of Warner Brothers, they would have Marvel, DC, Game of Thrones, the Game of Thrones universe, Harry Potter, what else would they have? They would have HBO, they would have everything, right? So, I love this idea, not only because it would make it a lot easier to see, like, Deadpool and Peacemaker show up together, right? But we could also have, like, crossovers between Batman and Daredevil. Oh, that would be so cool. We could also have I know people have always wanted, at least I've always wanted, a DC versus Marvel game. Or a Marvel version of Injustice. We could get that if Disney buys WB, right? And we could get a tentpole event movie where it's Avengers versus Justice League. So yeah, like, as you can tell, if it was up to me, I would have Disney buy Warner Brothers so we could get all these things. But keep in mind, guys, like, studios all over the place are bidding and stuff like that. But it is possible for Disney to buy WB, and then they would own both Marvel and DC, which would get me very happy. So, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed episode 2 of Marvel Mondays, and I hope you have a great day.